The truckers for Trump boycott might not be needed as much at this point, as the former president seems to be looking at a big win here. Now, with the 2024 presidential elections happening later this year, the Georgia case of Trump is being considered to be very crucial. The case in Georgia, it alleges that the former president took part in election interference. This is by far the biggest case for Trump in terms of political damage, as it would probably derail his chances for November. However, things seem to be looking up for Trump, given that the people who are involved in this case are now in hot water themselves. While the relationship of Georgia Fulton District Attorney Fani Willis and lead prosecutor Nathan Wade are now at trial here. So many analysts say that it can definitely throw a wrench into the works. So what's happening over there? And hey guys, before we really get into this, all I ask is that you take a second, drop a quick like for the video. I totally appreciate that. And I just want to thank you so much for always sharing these videos. You guys are amazing. Well, lawyers that represent Willis, they're now saying that the allegation from Trump and his co-defendants about the cell phone data providing a relationship between the district attorney and the top prosecutor is unfounded. Trump's side is saying that the relationship actually started prior to what the two testified. So the DA's office even went as far as to say that these phone records, they don't prove a thing, and they should not be considered as evidence in proceedings to decide whether Willis should be disqualified. So here's what the prosecutor said. They said that the records show that the special prosecutor Wade's phone was located somewhere within a densely populated multiple-mile radius where various residents, restaurants, bars, nightclubs, and other businesses are located. They also said that the records don't prove the content of the communication between the two, nor did they show if Wade was ever at a specific location or even address. They're now saying that the phone records, they can't really prove Willis and Wade were ever in the same place during any of the times listed. So this has some analysts asking the very obvious question. If the phone records can't prove anything, then why are they trying so hard not to have it included as evidence? Because one would think that this would actually help Willis and Wade, right? And so that's what many people are asking right now, because hiding the records would only mean that there is something that needs to be hidden. So if there isn't anything damning in these records, then it would be best to use it to further prove Trump's lawyers wrong, if that's the case. So Trump's attorney, Steve Sadow, he filed a motion alleging that the same phone data showed that Wade made several visits to an area where Willis lived back in 2021. Now, some of these visits went well into the night. Wade and Willis testified that their relationship started in early 2022, after Wade was appointed special prosecutor. Now, as you guys can notice, there's this huge discrepancy in their testimonies and what the phone data shows. So here's something that many people are kind of looking at and raising their eyebrows about. So the report, it also showed all interactions between Wade and Fani Willis, which includes phone calls and text messages. Now, within an 11-month period in 2021, it's come out that over 2,000 voice calls and just under 12,000 interactions were recorded. Now, I'm not sure how much you need to get in touch with your colleagues, but that's a lot of talk that is highly excessive. Now, in Nathan Wade's testimony, Wade also said that he was at Fani Willis's residence no more than 10 times. However, records show that a minimum of 35 occasions where his phone was in very close proximity to the address of the condo where Fani Willis stayed. It also says that these visits were not brief and that his phone stayed in this location for an extended period. The report also revealed that for September and for November 2021, Wade's phone traveled to the same area as Willis's condo frequently. Now, these visits were supposedly made late into the evening and early morning. Makes you wonder what really happened. By the way, this report was actually subpoenaed from AT&T. So I guess we'll be seeing some text messages that they exchanged, or probably even phone calls soon enough. Now, the problem for both Willis and for Wade is that the defense just needs one message or a phone call where they can reveal that they had a prior relationship. Now, if that happens, then it's highly probable that they're disqualified from the Georgia case, which causes this entire thing to crumble. However, both Wade and Willis, they're pushing back on this idea. Now, even though the phone data does show both of them exchanging phone calls late into the night, Wade said that this report was actually false. He cited that there was a lot of places in the area where he could have visited other than Willis's condo. He talked about the airport, the restaurants, and other establishments within the area. And so this now brings me to what Nathan Wade tried to do in order to keep his name clean. He just tried to block additional testimony from Terrence Bradley. So Bradley is Wade's former attorney and supposedly aware of the relationship between Wade and Willis. At least that's what some analysts are saying, because Wade seems to be doing his best to keep Bradley away from this case. Now, if you guys were not aware, so Bradley, he actually represented Wade in his Cobb County divorce. This means that Bradley is privy to some information that could possibly prove that the relationship happened earlier than what was testified in the court filings. Now, the bad news for them is that Wade's motion was blocked by a judge. So even though he said that the private review of information could unlawfully compel Bradley to disclose communications that should be protected by attorney-client privilege, Fulton County Supreme Court Judge Scott McAfee, he expressed doubts that Bradley was properly using attorney-client privilege. This in turn could force Bradley to answer questions that he initially tried to avoid. Now, if Bradley proves that the relationship between Willis and Wade happened before what they testified to, then things are really going to spiral out of control. Trump's legal team has already requested for Willis to be disqualified from this case for alleged misconduct. Now, there is a chance that this case moves forward. However, it's highly unlikely that the appointment of a new prosecutor will delay the proceedings. The expectation at this time is that it will go well beyond the 2024 presidential elections, something that Willis obviously wants to avoid. Fani Willis is also under fire for other reasons. Representative Jim Jordan is trying to figure out if Fani Willis used federal funds properly. So the DA has already filed to provide Jordan with documents that he requested related to federal funds used by Fani Willis's office. To make matters worse for Fani Willis, a whistleblower recently went to Jordan to confirm these suspicions. The whistleblower, as far as we know right now, is former Fulton County District Attorney's Office employee Amanda Timpson. So Timpson repeatedly tried to warn Willis in private about her colleague and top people on her team were attempting to misuse federal funds. Her honesty in turn got her fired by Fani Willis, which in turn prompted Timpson to file a complaint in 2022 alleging wrongful termination.
Once I told him about his, respectfully and in an email, about his lack of leadership and the fact that he wanted to do things with grants that were impossible, and I kept telling him, like, we can't do that, and questioning stuff. He would take me off projects, tell people I wasn't doing what I was supposed to because I questioned him. Because I understood, I helped write that grant. I knew what was in that grant. He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're gonna get MacBooks, we're gonna do that, we're gonna get swag, we're gonna use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county, all this. Took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew for a fact Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing, period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
So here's what many analysts are saying about this. If you have someone who's honest and is actually working for the American people, wouldn't you want that person on your side? Jordan added that Timpson was around 4'11", but had to be escorted out by 7 police officers. This tells Jordan that Willis was being dishonest about the use of federal funds. All of this is boiling down to a huge possible win for Trump. Many of Donald Trump's supporters are showing just how disappointed that they are with the alleged 2-tier justice system that we have in our country. Now, of course, you guys are open to interpret all of this information as you want, but rest assured, I'm gonna be here with you guys every step of the way to keep you guys informed. But before I go, I just want to thank you guys so much for your time. Thanks for liking the video, and I'll see you on the next one.